Hello.
Hey, welcome to John's Dungeon Corner Adventures here at the Collective. Today, I got a treat for you. Last week, we were talking about all the cool different books that we use in Dungeons and Dragons and all the accessories and that. Today, we're going to focus in on how to create my first player character. And today with me is my assistant, Steve. He usually does all the audio visual, so why not put him in front of the camera?
Yeah,
It's not like he's a stranger to it.
No, it's not like I'm a stranger to it. It's not like I'm not here.
He's strange, but he ain't a stranger.
Whoa!
Oh, what happened there?
Whoa! I don't
Oh,
know.
the treasure chest fell. Oh, my gosh.
Let me fix the camera.
There's treasure falling everywhere. Oh, my
You never know
gosh.
what's going to happen on live television.
Oh, man. Oh, there we go. Okay. It only moved us a little bit.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. We're still here. So behind me, while he comes back around, of course, we have my buddy Bob the Dragon. He's always back there, Get it? I can't. Oh, there we go. There he is. Now I blocked him. Nope. He might get mad. And then we got some really neat characters, some player characters, the miniatures, some in color, some to be painted, some that are pre-painted. We got the player's handbook with some dice because dice are wonderful. These right here, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but you got to have them. Foam Brain Games makes some really neat dice. The ones that I'm holding in my hand now are the Ranger's Arrow.
These are the Cleric's Mace.
Yep, and here we have the Barbarian's Axe. So really neat. They're the full set of dice. You can't really see them, but they got like this one. The Barbarian's Axe looks really neat. I'll see if we can show them to them because I love these dice.
Because you can see kind of that
they've got inside
things inside them.
You know what? I'm not going to show you these. Come down to Collective, check them out. That's the way I am. You want to see it? Come and get it. They're really neat. They're made for each class. Foam Brain Games makes some really awesome stuff.
Danny, we're not breaking anything. We're not breaking anything. Nothing's broken. Everything's fine.
Hey, Danny, no, nothing broke. There's nothing to see. So we got the character sheets over here. We got the really nice, I showed these last week, the Rim of the Frost Maiden dice set. I love that set. So you'll see that a lot. And of course, we have the token sets, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But first things first. So when we sit down to play Dungeons and Dragons, we take on the persona of a character. And today, I'm going to guide Steve step by step on how to create a character. And the cool thing is Steve is going to do it up on the screen.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring this up, and you can bring this up at home too. This is actually from the Dungeons and Dragons website. This is a completely fillable PDF. So as you can see, I just
and the neat thing is, are you showing us anymore or no? Did you take us out?
I mean, we're still up there, but for me to fill that in, I have to.
Oh no, I just want to show you this. This is straight. That sheet that you're looking at right there is. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. Well,
I mean,
it's right out of the book.
One.
Yeah, there we go.
So you basically, the sheet comes out of the book, or you print it, or you fill it at home.
Exactly.
On the website.
Just want you to see that what's up on the website is nothing that you can't already get when you buy the book.
That's unrealistic, and I would never do that because I actually respect the game and respect the actual.
Make sure
kind of weapons that my character can actually wield.
Hey, you guys got to come in here and ask Danny about his lance. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
That sounds oddly suggestive, but moving on.
Okay. All right. So the first thing we got to do is choose a race. Okay. There's a lot of races in the Dungeons and Dragons game. The basic races that come in the game. Okay. I'm just going to kind of go with the ones that come in the game because it's easier. We have in alphabetical order, even we have the dwarf and they have subclasses.
So Danny's character.
The elf. Moving along, the halfling, the human, because hey, every once in a while you got to be human. A dragonborn, which is a really neat character. The gnome, the half elf, the half orc, and the tiefling. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is choose a race, and each of the races have certain advantages. Some of them are stronger, some of them are more are healthier per se as far as the constitution thing. Some are more dexterous and quicker. Some are more intelligent. Some are more wise. And the humans are unique in a way that they're good at everything. So when you create the character, you're going to get bonuses to everything, literally every one of your abilities. So what kind of race were you thinking? What were you thinking for a race with all those crazy choices?
I mean, well, when we play our game on Sunday, I'm a human.
So, all right, so let's not be a human.
Let's go something different. No, Danny plays a
game.
drow
Yeah.
on weekends.
Are you making a character?
Yeah,
he's
that's
gonna
what
make
we're
a
doing.
character.
Dragonborn, easy.
No, we want something a little more
An
oompa.
elf? You want to
An
go
elf?
elf?
All right, elf. Okay, so let's go to
Go
elf. But what kind of elf we want? Because there's all different kinds. So when you go to elf, you know, it's like you get more choices.
Well, drow is a type of elf.
A drow, yes, but we have one of those already. Maddie's over here. Maddie, come over here and say hi. Maddie's over here off camera. He's our wizard over there. There he is. He plays Dungeons and Dragons too.
I do.
We all play Dungeons.
Everybody's a Dungeons and Dragons player. So we have elves, then we have the high elf, the wood elf, and the dark elf, better known as the drow. Not particularly evil, but so what are you thinking? So as an elf, you can be a high elf, and you can be a little bit more intelligent if you go with that subclass. They're all dexterous, so you get the +2 to dexterity no matter what. The wood elf, though, does have a wisdom increase, and of course, the dark elf is very charismatic. So those are your choices.
Well, I think I'm a pretty wise fellow, at least a wise cracking fellow. Let's go with that wood elf.
Okay, so wood elf. So we are going to be a wood elf. So let's fill that in.
All right. So
race wood elf. We're going to fill this in as we go. So cool. Okay, so now that next step is the class. All right, the different classes, and there's quite a few of them. We have the barbarian, the bard, the cleric, the druid, the fighter. And the neat thing is when you go to classes, so the next step, it tells you choose your race. You go to races, you can read about them and pick one. Then it says choose your class. All right, so then you got come to chapter 3, and it has all the classes, and it gives you a little blurb about the description. So barbarian, a fierce warrior of primitive background who can enter a battle rage. A bard, an inspiring magician whose power echoes the music of creation. The fighter, a master of martial combat, skilled with a variety of weapons and armor. The monk, a master of martial arts, harnessing the power of the body in pursuit of physical and spiritual perfection, like me. Whoa. A rogue, a scoundrel who uses stealth and trickery to overcome obstacles and enemies. That's my alter ego. No.
Wow.
Anyway, and then of course you got your sorcerer, your warlock, and your wizards, which are all spellcasters. They just kind of differ in how about they go about casting their spells. So what do you think about a class?
I mean, I am
so much to choose.
I am torn between a fighter and a rogue.
Ooh, fighter and rogue.
Nah, bards are boring. No, I'm just kidding.
No, bards are awesome. I love bards. Don't listen to him. Well, you know, those are both. I mean, you can either be a master of martial combat. You can wear all armors and use all kinds of weapons, or you can be sneaky and stealthy as a rogue and pick locks and find traps.
All right, let's go with the rogue because I'm familiar with the rogue because that's what I play on Sundays.
Okay.
So we'll keep with the rogue,
but we'll just make him a wood elf.
Yeah,
which is cool. Okay.
Wood elf.
So here, when you look at chapter 3, it'll tell you what kind of hit die they use. They use a D8. Their primary ability is dexterity, so you want your dexterity to be really high. Your saving throw proficiencies are dexterity and intelligence, and then you have a thing called armor and weapon proficiencies. And for the rogues, it's light armor, so like leather armor, studded leather armor, that kind of thing. Simple weapons, daggers, yeah. Lances. Hand crossbows, which is really neat. No, not lances. No, Danny, not a lance. Hand crossbows, which are really neat. Long swords, rapiers, which are great weapons. I love the rapiers, very versatile, and short swords. So
my hit dice is
a D8.
1d8.
No, well, the total's 1, and your D8. Excellent. Okay.
And then where did you say I get my saving throws?
Your saving throws are dexterity and intelligence.
So dexterity, we're gonna check that, and then intelligence, we're gonna check that.
Okay, what that means?
Why did it only let me check one?
Well, you should be able to check them both.
I should. Your
saving throw proficiencies says it right there, dexterity and intelligence.
After I tip it, it doesn't come back. Okay.
All right, well, there you go. We'll fill it in, but we know it's dexterity. Just mark it. Can you mark it somehow? Put a number in there. Just put a number.
Just put an X in there right now.
Yeah, put an X. And Constitution.
I thought it was intelligence.
Oh, intelligence. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm reading Constitution, but I'm thinking intelligence, saying Constitution. All right, that's the way that works sometimes. Okay, so now let's go down to while we're at it, let's go down to your proficiencies. Okay. Which are down here. See, now look, the character sheet it's like a step through. So right down here where it says keep going down, On your right, keep going down because it's at the bottom. Features and traits, other proficiencies and languages. Okay, so your proficiencies are light armor.
So I'm putting that in here.
Now,
Right?
watch. Let's just to kind of make this easier. Just put right there. Put armor and weapon proficiencies. That's where that would go because it's going to be different for everybody. And I think he would literally in that spot put light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. We're going to keep it a little bit simpler and show you where everything goes because depending on the character, this is always going to be different. All right, and we'll leave it at that. Now. The next thing we have to do, and this is really important, hit points and hit dice. So we've got his hit dice. We can't do his hit points yet because we don't know what his constitution is. But the third thing we want to do is determine those ability scores. All right. So here we go. Oh, and there's a little cheat sheet on page 12 of the player's handbook that tells you the ability scores and what strength does, dexterity. So here we go. For strength, it measures natural athleticism, bodily power, important for barbarian, fire, and paladin. Racial increases, mountain dwarf, dragonborn, half-orc, and human. So when you look at this, it tells you, hey, this is cool. Everything's all condensed for me, and I can look at it in one spot.
Yes.
So here we go. We're going to go to determine ability scores.
You have a nice little, analogy list as to what each strength, dexterity, constitution is, kind of put it in somewhat layman's terms.
Right.
Your fruit salad analogy.
Oh, no, that's Antonio who does the fruit.
Yeah,
So I'm going to leave that for Antonio. I'm going to bring him out one day, and we're going to do a little blurb on the fruit salad because it's amazing what he does with it. And I'm not going to get into that because that's really his thing. I love it, and you guys will think it's great. But basically, your strength, And where it comes down to what he uses that analogies between intelligence and wisdom and perception and it's really where it works out really cool. But we'll leave that alone. I don't want to get into that. So the way we put together the character, there's certain ways. You have 6 ability scores, as you can see here. Strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Those are going to have a score in them that will give you modifiers, pluses or minuses. There's 3 different ways of doing it. There's a lot of customized ways that people do it. But in the book, it tells you we can roll 4d6. Go ahead and grab your 4d6. He has all kinds of dice.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so 4. So he would roll these 4d6 and then kick out the lower score. So let's roll one stat down. Let's roll one that way. Okay, so he rolls the 4. Wow, that's a great score.
He got 5, a 4,
and 2 6s.
And 2 6s.
So right now we kick out the lower die, which is the 4. He would have a 17. And the way we do it is we're going to generate the scores. Let's put 17 on a piece of paper.
All right, so
I want you to write these. When you do it, write them off to the side.
Here, I can even do this. So everyone at home.
All right, so his first roll was a 17. He can't beat that. All right, so let's go to second rolls. And you can change the dice, by the way, if you want to, in case one's not rolling really good. You'll see that a lot. So here you go. The second roll. Oh, man, that's not bad.
3, a 4, a 2, and another 6.
All right, we're going to kick out the 2, and we got 13.
Kick out the 2, so we're going to go 13.
All right.
Right, so second roll, the 13.
All right, let's keep going here. Third roll.
Third roll.
Look at this guy.
Got a 6.
2 6s, a 5, and a 4. So we're going to take the highest, which is another 17.
So another 17.
Whoa! This is looking pretty good so far, so good.
So we're going to put third roll.
I have a joke about 17. So far, so good, though.
Bring.
All right, that's the buzzer to bang down the door.
All right, we got another one, right?
Yeah, we got to do a couple more of these.
Man, I keep getting caught in the groove of this.
Oh, that's all right. Look at that.
Okay, 5, 5, 5, 3.
5, 5, 5, 3. We'll kick out the 3. 15.
Fourth roll is a 15.
Whoa. Okay, let's see what 5 brings us. Oh, man, he is on fire.
6, 5, and 2.
We kick out the 2.
Yeah, so that's, what, 13?
That's 17, man.
17, man. I can't count.
Yeah, you got a 13.
Can't
See,
count.
as a DM, I go, yeah, 13, man. Yeah.
Fifth roll is a 17.
Okay, let's go to the 6th and final roll.
This is the last roll, guys.
Don't blow it, man.
The worst roll yet. So 3-3-3 or 3-3-4-1. So we're going with 10.
10.
That's the lowest roll.
Hey, that's all right. You know what? You can't be great in all.
All right.
All right, so that's how we did it. Now, there are other steps where you can use a custom variant system in here where you can buy the skills. You get X amount of points, and you have 27 points to spend on your ability scores. And but the thing with that one is the highest you're going to get as an ability score is a 15. And obviously, you can see that Steve here has rolled way above that average. The average is usually 14, 15. He has just blown the averages out of the water. But that's why it's called an average. All right. So now what he's going to do is he's going to rearrange those scores to benefit his character class, which is a rogue. And when we go back to chapter 3 and we look at, hey, what does a rogue need? Okay, we come right here to the very front. It's going to be on page 45. A rogue needs a high dexterity and a high intelligence.
So right away, we're going with the 17s. I got
So
17. So intelligence and dexterity are both going to get 17. So we're going 17. And what was the other one? Was wisdom or intelligence?
Yeah, intelligence. Now, here's a neat
17.
thing.
So we're going to cross out those two 17s.
Correct. And then now he has another big 17 and a 15. And those are really good scores. My suggestion is because I think the rogue really needs that perception because you're usually up front looking for traps in that.
Right.
And now we're talking about skill. See, now the way you build your character is you kind of decide what it is your character is going to do. A rogue is a great infiltrator. A rogue is a great trap master, a locksmith. He does a lot of things really well. And if you look at the different skills next to him, like acrobatics has dexterity. But when you come down, perception is a really neat ability. It allows you to, hey, what do I see? I don't feel right. Is there, I think there might be a trap here on the floor, one of these spring traps or something. You've all seen the movies. Guy steps on the floor in a dungeon, and all of a sudden you hear that horrible noise. Click. And here comes the arrow or the poison barb or whatever, the guillotine, the scything back and forth. So here, I'm going to check the floor for a trap and see if there's anything a pit or a spring trap or anything that might hurt the party. And that's where perception comes in. Now we got 3 stats left: strength, constitution, strength, which is how strong you are, basically. Yeah. Constitution, which is how healthy you are, and that's where your hit points are based off of. And charisma, which is not solely just how good looking you are, but how well you can interact, how charismatic you are leading people, how charismatic you are with the merchants when you're haggling with them. So now you got to kind of make a decision. Do I want to be strong? Do I want to be charismatic?
I think charisma is very much an important part of a rogue's character, personally.
Okay.
Because I think if you have the ability to lead people or intimidate people or what have you, persuade people, this, that, and the other thing, you're kind of like doing your job before you really have to do your job.
Exactly.
So if you can get the guy to open the door for you and you don't have to pick the lock.
Exactly. So what he's talking about, if you guys will look at the skills, see where deception is. Start at deception.
Yes.
Yeah, it's charisma based. Intimidation, charisma based. Persuasion, charisma based. That's what he's talking about. So when you're haggling with somebody or you're trying to intimidate them, all these are based off of your charisma bonus.
Right.
So he's gonna go. I take it with the 15.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the 15 there.
All right.
We'll go cross that out. I don't really need to be strong.
Okay.
So we're going to put the lowest there. We're going to put the 10 there.
Okay.
And then we'll put the 13 in constitution.
All right, which gives you,
I'd like to have a little bit of health.
Yeah, so you're a healthy kind of guy. All right. So now here's the neat thing. So now what's going to happen is based on his race, we're going to remember how I said he gets those pluses. Okay, so we're going to go back to the elf. Being an elf gives you a dexterity score of +2. So what he's going to do now is go back to the character sheet, and since he gets a +2 in dexterity, he's going to get his dexterity is going to become a 19.
So I put the +2.
Right. This is on your skill base. We're not doing the pluses, the bonuses yet. We're talking about the ability score bonuses. So your dexterity is a 17. Because you're an elf, your dexterity score increases 2 points, so it becomes a 19.
So that becomes a 19.
Correct.
By default.
By default, boom. Because he's an elf, they're really fast, they're really agile, they have great hand-eye coordination. That's what dexterity is. They're very nimble with their fingers. Okay, and since you're a wood elf,
are you nimble with your fingers, John?
Indeed, I am. See? Shame.
Now I'm
That's not
dead.
good. Yeah, she's dead. All right. So you also get an ability score because you're a wood elf of 1 to your wisdom. Haha.
Okay.
So putting that, look what happens here.
No,
Putting that
wisdom.
17 in wisdom becomes an 18, which is a wonderful number.
It is.
All right. So everything else stays the same. And now, okay. So now let's suppose he had decided to be a drow. He would have still gotten a +2 to his dexterity, but instead of the +1 to his wisdom, he would have gotten it to his charisma, which would have become a 16. But leave it like that.
Right.
Okay, so different races give you different bonuses. All right, so these are his final stats. So here's what's cool: the little number below, and there's 2 different ways you can do these numbers, and that's what I like. And this is all up to you. There's modifiers that are going in. So his strength modifier is going to be 0, +0. You're average. You're not really strong. You're not really weak. But watch what happens here. His 19 dexterity is going to give him a +4 to anything that's dexterity based. Oh, yeah. And, well, we're not going to jump ahead of ourselves, but that can go higher. 20 is the maximum any skill can get to, but it's a +5. Well, now your constitution is a 13, so you get a +1 to there, which is very important because that gives him a +1 to his hit points. His intelligence score of 17 gives him a +3. That's why you got to be intelligent to be a rogue, because you got to work with all these traps and stuff. And of course, now watch this. Remember that perception? I'm going to show you how all this works, but your wisdom of 18 gives you a +4. And of course, the 15 gives you a +2. So other than his strength, everything gives him a plus, but his strength doesn't hurt him. It's just he's an average kind of guy when it comes to strength. That's why he's not a fighter. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, describe your character, but that's more of a role-playing thing, and you can go and put all these neat things in. But
I want to make a note real quick.
What's your
this
name?
Is where
Ah,
I
you got a
put
name
my
in.
name.
No, your character
that's
name
the
isn't Steve.
Yeah, I know, but this is the player name.
Yeah, but let's change
So we
it.
gotta
Come
change
on.
it. What are we gonna call myself?
Hey, is anybody out there on live with us?
Yeah, if anybody's watching right now, I see there's like 4 people
Okay.
watching at least.
Name this
Give
character.
me a name.
Give him a
Throw out a
name.
name. Name my character.
Now, it can't be too crazy because remember, this is being
Remember,
filmed and we got to
it's
put it up
family
there.
show.
Family show.
Remember that.
Sometimes it's PG-10, but we don't want to get any crazier than that.
All right,
All right, so we're going to leave that left. Leave that blank. They're going to throw up some names later on. Come on now. This is where you get to interact with us. All right, so here we go.
So give me a name. Let's go.
Let's name him
go.
Farfanugan. No.
Snuffleupagus.
Oh, I like that one. All right, what else we got? What else? We could always give a first name and a last name. And maybe even a nickname if somebody comes with something nice and creative.
I also don't know who Steen is. I mean Steven. That's me. Hi. I misspelled my own name.
Oh, wow. That is pretty bad. All right, so next. All right, so we described the character. We're going to kind of hold off on that right now. We put the character's abilities in there, so we fleshed them out that way. Now, the next thing is we're going to go. All right, so choose equipment. Okay, so now here's where we're going to bounce around in the book. And this is the really neat thing because so from your class, you get equipment. And we're going to start filling this out as we go. So let's go to your saving throws.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how to fill out all these saving throws real quick. So he is proficient. Oh, by the way, your proficiency bonus at first level is a +2. So let's put that right there.
Right.
Everybody gets this +2, by the way. All right. So that means that any skill that you're proficient with, any saving throw that you're proficient with, you will add a +2 to. And that includes weapons also. A +2. A 2. No. So where it says dexterity, his saving throw is based on his dexterity. So his dexterity is a 19, which gives him a +4. But he is proficient in it, so he gets a +6.
So I'm putting +6.
+6 right there.
All right. So
change that X out.
Well, we need to make sure that we know that that's where I'm.
All right. Then we go to intelligence.
Proficiencies.
Okay. And his intelligence gives him a +3. +2 is +5. Now, you didn't let me finish. See, don't jump ahead of yourself. You got to put all these nice little pluses in there. So that's +5. Okay, now his strength gives him a +0. So all he's going to have in strength is 0. He gets now. Watch how all this works out. He gets a big fat +0. But in Constitution, now here's the difference, everybody. And this is the first one that we're going to do like this. Notice how his dexterity gave him +4. We added the proficiency bonus because of his class, he is proficient in dexterity and intelligence saving throws. He is not proficient in Constitution, so his Constitution is +1. So that's what he gets, a +1. And then his wisdom, well, his wisdom's actually really good, so he gets a +4 in that one. He's a very wise guy. Get it? Wise guy. And then, of course, his charisma is +2, so he gets a +2. These will all be different for every character based on their class. And now, we're not going to mess with any of the skills yet because those are all class and sometimes, as you'll see, racially built.
Insert username or insert name, excuse me. We are going through how to build your very first D&D character.
Yes. So far, we've got his class, his race. We have his class, his race, his ability scores, and we've just finished out his saving throws. So now we're going to go to the race, the racial. So everything. What do I get for being an elf? Well, let's find out. Well, his age. Okay, here's cool. An age turns into an adult at about 100 and can live to be 750 years old. So on the next page, and then we'll go through the other pages real quick so you can see these neat things that come. Okay, so the next page gives you an age. Here's where you can describe your character: age, height, weight. This is all up to you. His eyes, his skin, his hair. But age. What do we got to do for an age? You got to put an age in there.
How old did you say it could be?
Well, you turn into an adult at 100, but you might take you to about 133.
Wow, thanks.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, if I was an elf, I'd still be a kid at 750. Okay, they wouldn't let me out of the village.
That's your life expectancy.
Hey, I'm gonna be a kid forever. So there you go. If I live 750 years,
so
I'm gonna be a kid.
I don't want to be a kid, but I don't want to be like old like some people.
Okay.
So
hey, I'm a half elf. I'm gonna outlive you, man.
let's do 420 years old.
Wow. I was thinking maybe like 133, 140. He's gonna be like middle-aged.
Yeah.
And you can put in your height and your weight and all that stuff however you want. So alignment. Okay, so listen. Let's talk about alignment. Let's go back up to the top. Alignment. There's 9 different alignments, okay? And you got lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil. You've got neutral, neutral good, neutral evil. You've got chaotic, neutral, chaotic good, chaotic evil. The chaotics, they believe in freedom. The lawful, they like to follow rules. The neutrals, well, neutral. I'm neither good or evil. I'm neither lawful nor chaotic. And then basically after that, you just insert evil, neutral, and good. Okay. Of course, a lawful good character is the epitome. It's like you're selfless. You're pious. Is that the word you say? Pious. I've never played a pious character, so I can't even pronounce the word. But and then of course your lawful evil guys like someone who believes in the laws but will use underhanded tactics from time to time. Then of course your chaotic. On the other side is your chaotics. Chaotic good is somebody who will always work in the interest of society or that, but they're chaotic. So they're whatever suits me as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. Let me re-examine that. Of course, chaotic evil, you're going to do whatever. It don't matter. People get in your way, you're just going to shank them. I eat Puerto Rican sometimes. No. Anyway, but I'm going to tell you something. To me, as a DM, I would say, and if you can role play this, and this is what these things are, they're just role playing tidbits to me. How is my character going to act around other people? The alignment kind of helps you a little bit. To me, the evilest of the evil are those who are neutral evil, because you don't care about law, you don't care about individual freedom. You're going to do whatever you can to further the aims of evil. I mean, think about it.
Somebody's day.
Exactly. I'm going to do evil for evil's sake. Whether people view it as lawful or chaotic is immaterial. Whether I did it for the group or I did it because I wanted to do it is immaterial, as long as it's evil. That's your true evil. And that's just my opinion. A lot of people tell you that chaotic evil is the ultimate, but I think
I think people
a
hear
scarier,
that
a scarier
term
concept is somebody who will work with people but still be evil.
Right.
And they may even work towards the better good as long as it helps us eat, because he may be helping kill his nemesis or his opponents in the Thieves Guild or the Assassins Guild. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
I think people hear that term chaotic and automatically think that just means
Correct.
absolute chaos.
Yep.
Doesn't necessarily. Just means that you're more kind of free-willed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here we go. So alignment. Elves love freedom, variety, and self-expression. So leaning strongly toward the gentle aspects of chaos. And what it means the gentle are like chaotic good. You can be chaotic neutral. Hardly ever will you find a chaotic evil unless something. And here's the neat thing: your background. And I'm kind of diverting off a little bit, but when you create a background, like I've had characters with, I had a character that I wrote once for a campaign, and he had a 19-page background. I've also written characters
John, that's
that
a
have
college essay.
Yeah, well, I love that. Well, it depends on how much you're into the game, okay? But that character had a background that was amazing. And then I've done character backgrounds that were like a page. When I run a campaign, my home campaign, everybody has to have at least a page, 2 to 3 paragraphs talking about, and I'll help you. There's ways of going into the books and taking what's in the books and kind of putting it into a story. And I'll leave that at that. That kind of helps with your alignment. So what kind of alignment are you going to be after all this is said and done?
Let's go chaotic good first.
Okay, chaotic good. Guy. So there we'll put that right there. Chaotic good. Size. Elves range from under 5 foot to over 6 feet tall and have slender builds. Your size is medium. So right here, we're going to put his height and his weight. Medium. So weight is immaterial in the game. I mean, dwarves are short and stocky. Elves are tall and slender. But I've seen, Antonio will play a 7-foot dwarf, or excuse me, a 7-foot elf. That's
an oxymoron if I've ever heard it. 7-foot dwarf.
Yeah, why not? No, but he'll play a 7-foot elf and who's pretty buffed up. So it's what you want. It's your character. So what would height?
Height. I want to be a short, little, stocky guy. So,
you're gonna be short. Okay.
Let's do like 3 foot.
I wouldn't make him that. I wouldn't do that. That's too short.
That's too short. 4 foot.
4 foot. 4-foot elf. Okay, you're 420. He's that character you see in some of the animes that's really short, hides behind everybody.
And then
or
weight.
4 foot. If you're 100 pounds, if you're 110 pounds, you're pretty stocky.
Yeah, let's do we'll do 110.
There you go. And then what color eyes are you gonna have?
What color eyes do I want to have?
Anybody want to throw something out there?
Yeah, come on. What color eyes do I have, guys? What color eyes does Snuffleupagus have?
Is that what you're gonna name him, Snuffleupagus?
I'm definitely not naming him Snuffleupagus.
I love that.
Let's go with
my vote's Farfanugan.
Okay. I'm gonna have yellow eyes.
Okay. You need a skin?
Skin. I'm an elf, right?
Yeah, you're a wood elf. I mean, so here we go. This is some of the things they call wood elves. This is really neat. It even tells you in here. Wood elves. As a wood elf, you have keen sense of intuition, and your fleet feet carry you quickly and stealthily through your native forest. Wood elves' skin tends to be copperish in hue, sometimes with traces of green. Their hair tends towards browns and blacks, but it is occasionally brown or copper. Their eyes are green, brown, or hazel. So it gives you stuff that you can actually use. You can do it, but if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to go with there's even choices that they give you, which is really neat.
All right, so we're gonna go. I guess we're gonna go copper skin.
Copper. There we go. That sounds cool.
And then my hair is gonna be.
It says, let's see. Their hair tends to browns and blacks, but occasionally blonde or copper colored. Cool.
Yeah. So I want to be a redhead, but I don't want to be like a true redhead.
Well,
like
you could be like a brunette.
Red. Yeah.
You'd be like a copperish red. There you go. Copper red hair. Look at that.
Rust-colored hair.
Rust-colored hair. There you go. Rust-colored. His hair's rusty.
Can we name him Captain Harlock?
I get that. 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 I get that Oh man. Okay, so here we go. Now going along, keeping going. Your speed. Okay, now this is neat. Now watch what's about to happen. This is where taking a sub race sometimes helps out. Normal elf walking speed is 30 feet. Let's go up to the top. Put that 30 in there for now as a base. But because he has a unique ability, remember we talked about it, called Fleet of Foot. His base walking speed goes up to 35 feet.
Booyah!
So he has 35 feet. Put the little hash for the feet. The little asterisk. There you go.
No, that's that one.
There we go. Perfect. So he can move 35 feet. And that's because he's a wood elf. Almost everybody moves 30. I think the dwarves and the halflings, because of their size, move 20, 25. It varies. But he has one of the fastest walking speeds of 35. Okay, so that's cool. Now, keep going. Dark vision. Accustomed to twilight, forest, and the night sky, you have superior vision in dark and dim conditions. You can see 60 feet as if you were in bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. You can't see colors, only shades of gray. So that's really neat. So that means that if he's down in a dungeon, he can actually see pretty good in the dark, which is really nice. So let's put dark vision. Dark vision is one of our traits. So we're going to go down to where it says traits. Go down. Down, 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 down. See where it says features and traits? So right there, we're just going to put dark vision. Just put dark vision. 60 feet. You can fill this out. We're going to fill some of this out because it's simpler. Now you have keen senses. Now here's another thing he gets for being an elf. Keen senses. You have proficiency in the perception skill. So look what you did for yourself. So put an X over a dot on perception. He got that for free. That's for free because it's his grace. Fey ancestries. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. So what we're going to do is over here under traits, under dark vision, just put Fey ancestry.
How do you spell that?
F-E-Y and ancestry. We're just going to put it there. I told you what it does. And this is the way I would actually do my character. I wouldn't try and type all this in there. I would put Fey ancestry and then put page 23 on there. So if you, and eventually you'll remember it. It's just a little thing, page 23, other players, and PHB. Watch, I'm even going to show you PHB, Player's Handbook. But you can do it that way too. Yeah, take that out. There you go. Perfect. So Player's Handbook, page 23, and you can read it. Okay, trance. This is really cool. Just put trance underneath that. And I'll read it and just put, once again, Player's Handbook, page 23. Elves don't need to sleep. Instead, they meditate. Most characters have to sleep for 8 hours to get back their spells, to rest up, to heal. Unlike them, elves have the special ability trance, which only requires them to remain semi-conscious. They don't even need to sleep. They're semi-conscious for 4 hours. It goes on to say, while meditating, you can dream after a fashion. Some dreams are actually mental exercises that have become reflexive through years of practice. After resting in this way, you gain the same benefit that a human does from 8 hours of sleep, which is awesome. Okay, languages. You can speak, read, and write Common and Elvish. So underneath languages, go down and put
what was it? Elvish?
Elvish, Common and Elvish. Everybody pretty much speaks Common, which is English, if you wanted to put it that way. Elvish, they say, is more like, I think they've been equated to French if you were doing a LARP, but you've all heard the different Elven tongues, like in the Lord of the Rings. That's what Elven sounds like. So there you go. And we're done with that. Then we go to his wood elf, and we see that he got his wisdom increase already. Elf weapon training. Now, here's a neat thing. Go back to where your traits, over here, proficiencies, and put armor and weapon and elven weapon training. Oh, actually, weapon, comma, put the comma there, and then put elven weapon training. Because that's the proficiency. That gives you, in addition to everything else, even if he weren't, let's say he was a I don't know, let's pick a different class that normally wouldn't get the martial weapons. He's an elven bard, let's say. He would also get the long sword, short bow, and longbow proficiency because he's an elf. Like rogues, I think, There's certain classes that are limited on their weapons, but this is an addition because it's his racial weapons. So that's important to put down there. You got Fleet of Foot and then Mark of the Wild. This is really neat. Let's go back over here to traits and put Mask of the Wild. And that's also, now this one is PHB page 24. Okay, and these are just notes. Basically what this does is you can attempt to hide even when you are only lightly obstructed by foliage, heavy rain, falling snow, mist, or other natural phenomena like fog. So you can actually attempt to hide even if you're out in the open in these because you have that unique ability. All right, so that's everything for the racial. Now we're going to go to his classroom. So we're going to jump back here to chapter 3 and go. And each class, of course, has its own set of abilities and stats that it changes and equipment that they start with. So here we go. The Rogue. He's on page 94. And it goes into skill and proficiency. It talks about a lot of stuff, shady living. But let's create the Rogue. All right, his hit points, we already determined, are 1d8 per Rogue level. Okay. So let's do your hit points because we got your Constitution. So he gets, I always start out, and the book says hit points at first level, 8 plus your Constitution. So your hit point maximum is going to be 9.
So
your maximum is 9.
Maximum is 9.
And just leave the current because you're right in as you take damage and
so
such.
Technically, starting out, my hit points are...
You current are 9.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what he has for maximum. At higher levels, you can roll a d8 or take a 5. And you always get your Constitution modifier as you go along. So your proficiencies. Okay, here we go. Now let's go down to proficiencies again. And what I'm going to do is, we're not going to write all these in here. Put down where it says other proficiencies, just right there. And you can put it on the features and traits too, guys. You can put this wherever you feel comfortable put it. But right here, we're going to just skip along and put page 95.
Oh, excuse me.
Because he has light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. Now, here's the neat thing about this. Okay, you misspelled swords.
Oh, yeah, I missed that R.
Okay, so here's...
What was it? Wait, rapiers and...
Well, just put, you could have put long and short swords because...
Oh, don't get me like that, John.
The short swords. There we go. Okay. All right, now here's something neat. Notice that when I read off the Elven, he gets the short bow and the long bow. Nowhere in there do you see that he can use the long bow, which I believe is a martial weapon. I'm going to double check that real quick because I don't want to tell you something that's wrong. But so here we go. Simple weapons. So he can use a short bow as a rogue, but because the longbow is a martial range weapon, he technically would not be able to use it, but he can because he is an elf. So that's where that crossover comes in. All right, so let's move along.
Okay.
All right, so I know we got a time limit. Tools, Steve's tools. So let's put that over here in features and traits. We can keep putting stuff over here, or equipment, under equipment.
Yeah, let's put that under
equipment. Okay, Thieves' tools. That's something he gets because of his class. We already know his dexterity and saving and intelligence are saving throws. I can't
spell.
All right, now here we go. Now he has to make some choices.
That's all right.
Yes, Thieves' tools.
Cool.
Now here's where he gets to choose. He gets to choose 4 skills from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. And you can look all these up underneath the different skills because there's a whole list and it explains what all the skills does.
So I get to pick
4 of these.
4
but
of
you've
those?
already got perception because being an elf.
Right.
So now you get to choose 4 more.
So
So we like. I know that your other guy really likes being stealthy. So
yeah,
a rogue is all. You can't go wrong with being stealthy.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with being stealthy.
Okay?
So we'll go stealth.
You have, and then you were talking about deception and perception or persuasion.
Persuasion.
So you can take those in case persuasion, deception. Do you want to deceive them? You want to persuade somebody to sell you something?
I don't want to be deceptive.
Okay, so you want to be persuasive. So
yeah.
Do we want to do? What about
I like the sleight of hand.
the sleight of hand? So sleight of hand works out. Sleight of hand is now used for things like disabling traps. If you want to pilfer something from someone, if you want to make them look that way and snatch something this way, that's what sleight of hand is. It's kind of like doing the 3-card Monty or the shell game. That is definitely sleight of hand. So this guy, this rogue could sit out over in the marketplace and play 3-card Molly with these guys, with people. And he'd have a pretty good chance of winning because his dex is out of control. So let's put that there.
Let's go with sleight of hand.
So now we need
one more, right?
We need one more. Yeah, we need one more.
So
you got acrobatics. You got your stuff already. You got sleight of hand. You got acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight.
Insight.
Insight would be good. Insight. It's exactly what it means. Insight. When you look at a trap, you're looking at it and you're like, how would this work? So I'm trying to find insight into something. Okay, these cracks look a little different. Could this be a trap? So there's always different ways of using it.
Yeah, let's go with insight.
So let's go with insight. So there we go. So those are 4. So now that's done. Now over here, then you get choices on equipment. And we're almost done, believe it or not. The character's almost ready to go. Equipment, you get choices. Do you want to start out with a rapier or a short sword?
Let's go with a rapier.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you the difference. And here's why they give you choices. Because, okay, so in a short sword, right, if we want to use a short sword, it's a finesse light weapon. The rapier is just a finesse weapon. So if he wanted to dual wield and he had to have your secondary hand in order not to get an ugly modifier, it has to be a light weapon. So he would go with the short sword. Or he'd go with the rapier because finesse means he can. No, rapier is nice because rapier allows you. When it says finesse, it means that you get to use your dexterity as the modifier instead of strength.
The daggers that Loki uses?
Those are finesse weapons too.
So those are like rapiers, aren't they? Or those are a little shorter than rapiers?
Those are a little shorter. So rapier is actually a longer weapon, like a musketeer weapon.
Okay.
The musketeer weapon is the rapier.
I misunderstood.
No, that's okay. So we took the rapier. Okay, do you want a short bow with a quiver of arrows or a short sword? So you could actually end up with dual weapons right off the bat you don't
go with
short bow and you get 20 arrows.
Okay, we'll go with the short bow.
You might want to start,
short bow
with just put the W/20. That means 20A, 20 arrows. This is how I abbreviate everything. Okay, do you want to now? Here's an interesting choice. You get to start with a burglar's pack, a dungeoneer's pack, or an explorer's pack. That's back here in the equipment. So you kind of got to bounce around. It's on. I'll tell you, it's right. Oh, where'd it go? It's a table that they have with all the packs, and it tells you what they have inside of them. And as soon as I get to that page, there they are, equipment packs. It'll be on 151. A burglar's pack. We're not going to get into it, but here we go. It has 1,000 ball bearings. Wonder why. 10 feet of string, a bell, candles, crowbar. Anyway, yeah. So the Dungeoneers, which is the other one, right? Yeah, the Dungeoneers pack has a backpack, a crowbar, a hammer. It has 50 feet of hemp rope. And I'm just kind of throwing out pieces of it. And then the Explorer's pack is a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit. See, it's a little different. 10 days of rations. Whereas the Burglar's pack is worth 16, the Dungeoneers is 12, and the Explorers is 10. So, but anyway, so we're not going to worry about that. And then you would get to choose, you would get leather armor. This is important. Leather armor, 2 daggers, and your thieves' tools.
Can't spell.
LEA.
I know.
Leather armor, 2 daggers, and you already got the thieves' tools.
Thieves' tools, right.
All right. So now, okay, and underneath that, you get 2 special abilities. The first one is called expertise. This is really neat. So here's what expertise does. I'm going to read right out the book. At first level, choose 2 of your skill proficiencies or 1 skill proficiency and your proficiency with thieves' tools. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of the chosen proficiencies. Then at 6th level, you get to choose 2 more proficiencies in skills or thieves' tools. So here's what that means. My proficiency bonus is a Go up, up.
I'm up.
+2.
+2.
So in one skill in his Thieves Tools or in 2 skills, he can take and add, instead of just 2, you can add 4. Because it's double your proficiency bonus.
So,
Yeah. So we got to fill. Now we're going to fill these in. This is the reason why I waited to come back and fill these in, because he has that unique ability called Expertise, which is going to go over here on the right, underneath Mask of the Wild. And here's what I do. I'll put Expertise. Okay. And then I stop and go over here and look at what I want to put it in and then write it down right next to that.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If it was my rogue, and this is what I do as a DM, if I'm going to be using that, if I went ahead and had that big old wisdom score there, I put it in perception so I can have a really good chance of finding these traps. Secret doors, all those ones. That's why really the elves are really good at stuff like that. They find secret doors and concealed doors and things like that really well.
Okay, so we'll put it in perception.
Okay, so put down perception, expertise, perception. That's one. Now the other one. Now, what do you want to do? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. You got some good skills there, so you really got to kind of see where you want to go from here. Sleight of hand would be good if you want to persuade people really well. You could do it in persuasion. See what I'm saying, huh?
Yeah.
You got stealth. Do I want to sneak around really well? I mean, there's so much. And remember, at 6th level, you're gonna get 2 more skills you can do this with.
Right.
Oh yeah, and at 6th level, remember,
I'm gonna do it in stealth.
Okay, well there you go. So put stealth there, and that reminds you that you've already got to know. So now down here, now we're going to fill in his skills. His skill insight is based on wisdom, so he's proficient in it. So everything starts out at base of 2 for insight for anything that you're proficient in. So insight. Let's go with insight. Is your what? Wisdom.
Yeah.
So you get a +4, so you got a +6 in that one. These numbers are fantastic. Okay, so let's keep going down at perception. Your wisdom, but remember, you're doubling your proficiency bonus. So it's 4 + 4 + 8, which is nice. So when he rolls a D20 to see, can I find that secret door? If I roll a 15, I'm going to add 8. Now it becomes a 23. That's a really good number. Okay, persuasion is your charisma, so it's going to be 4. 2 + 2 is 4.
Right. I can math.
That sleight of hand is dexterity, which is a +4 also. So you got +2 + 4 + 6.
So we're doing +6 on sleight of hand,
Yeah.
right? Because we got the
+2 + 4.
Right.
And then of course that stealth is out of control. His proficiency bonus is double, which is 4. +4 for his dexterity is another +8.
Woo!
Oh yeah. Now, well, not
Not
+89. But anyway, so let's find something else. All these other skills, you can use them. You just don't get the proficiency bonus. So if you want to do acrobatics, want to do a backflip, well, in his case, he'd be really good at it because he has a +4 to his roll no matter what because of his dexterity. But let's go to something that's strength. Okay, athletics. Let's say he was going to jump across or let's say he wants to climb a rope straight up. That's a athletics check. So his big athletic skill is a +0. So he would get just to roll the die, and he rolled a 13, and that's all she rolled. So if it took him a DC of 15, which is a check, he would not make it because his dexterity or strength is +0. All right, so let's go on. Expertise is done. Sneak attack. Oh, here comes the bread and butter of the road. Put sneak attack under expertise. Okay. Beginning at 1st level, you know how to strike subtly and exploit a flow's distraction. Once per turn, you can deal an extra 1d6 of damage to one creature you hit with an attack if you have advantage on the attack roll. The attack must use a finesse or a ranged weapon. That's why his weapons are, you always want the finesse weapons with a rogue. You don't need advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it. That enemy is incapacitated and you don't have disadvantage on the attack roll. And what all that translates into is basically, as long as this creature is engaged with somebody else, you'll get they're distracted, considered distracted. So you'll have advantage on them. Also, if they don't know you're there, there's a lot of different ways that the DM has to give you that ability. But it doesn't matter because once you hit him, you're going to roll whatever the weapon's damage is, which in the case of a rapier is a 1d6. And then you would roll a second d6 for your damage. So you roll 2d6. You would add your dexterity, which is 6, plus the 4 is 10. You'd end up with 12 points of damage, which is very nice. Very nice. From behind. Ooh. And by the way, as you go up, beginning at first level, so as you get up in levels like, where is it? So there goes the sneak attack. Where's the sneak attack? I think they just left it at that, didn't they? Yeah. This amount of extra, the amount of extra damage increases as you gain levels in this class, as shown in the sneak attack column of the rogue table. So yes, here it is. At third level, it's 2d6, and it goes up all the way up to like at 20th level, you're hitting for 10d6 from behind. It don't even. You're gonna stab someone with a dagger, roll a d4, and then roll 10d6 to add damage.
You dead.
Yeah, you can kill some stuff.
You dead.
Yeah. Okay, and the last thing is something really cool that thieves do. It's called Thieves Camp. Put that under languages. Thieves have their own language. It's a common based or elven based, whatever language you can speak. But what it goes like is this, it's a secret mix of dialect, jargon, and code that allows you to hide messages in seemingly normal conversation. And the neat thing is, there's a lot of secret signs. If some of you have played video games, you'll see like in, I think the Ranger, when you're playing, what is the Lord of the Rings game where you're playing the Ranger? He's running through the country, but there's these special catches that you see the symbol and you bring it up, or there's other games that have secret markings that lead to secret catches. That's what Thieves Camp. You recognize the symbols because they're out in plain sight. Nobody understands what they are though. And so Steve and I would be talking. We're both rogues, and I'm like, "Oi!" And "oi," if you use "oi" in that dialect, it'll mean like "hey." But I'm saying "oi" because I'm a rogue and I'm trying to talk to him. I know he's one of my contacts. I go, "Oi, I was looking for a needle. I have to go do some sewing." Now, it's to anybody who's listening to us, we're talking about sewing. What the hell is up with these two guys, But what I'm really saying is the needle is I need a dagger because I got to go sew something up. Well, guess what I'm really going to go do? I'm going to go shank somebody. That's one of my favorite words. I need a dagger to go shank somebody. Any way you can fix me up. Any way that you can fix me up. You see, that was someone listening to that says, "Oh, okay, so this guy must be like a seamstress or tailor or something, and he needs special thread or he needs a needle." No, what I just asked them is, "Hey, can you basically sell me a dagger? I gotta go shank somebody, and I need to get rid of the weapon." That's what I basically said to him in Thieves Camp. Anyway, so that's it. That's everything you get for being a rogue. Now we're just gonna kind of fill this out. We need a background. Let's go do that really quick. I want to do a background. And I'm just going to, you get a lot of choices here. There's a lot of backgrounds. They give you things too. So here we go. Background. Okay, so you got the acolyte, the charlatan, the criminal, rogue criminal, the entertainer, the folk hero, the guild artisan, the hermit, the noble, right? The outlander, the sage, the sailor, the soldier, and the urchin. I think I missed one somewhere. There's there is charlatan. Yes. So you can pick a background, and that in itself kind of helps flesh out your character, and it gives you a couple more things. I think it's probably the last part we're going to do, and then we're going to sign off. But let's do that. So let's see, because we're going to go shanking people. Let's give you the criminal background. I think that would be a cool one. So over here, he's got the criminal background. Here's what that does for him. You're an experienced criminal with a history of breaking the law. So far from being chaotic. Well, you can be good at break the law, because, hey, individual freedom, right? But here's what it does for you. It gives you skill proficiency.
Robin Hood was a good guy who broke the law.
Exactly.
There you go.
So he was probably chaotic good. Actually, he probably was. Skill proficiencies, deception and stealth. Well, now here's the neat thing. Go down to your skill proficiencies. Remember you didn't want deception?
Mhm.
Well, as a criminal, you get deception anyway. So he gets to add deception to his repertoire.
So I get to check this
Yep.
box.
Yep. And your charisma is +2, +2, +4.
Hey.
So this is why you don't really finish a character until you do all this. All right, now you're already and this is up to DMs. You already have the skill proficiency stealth.
Mhm.
At this point, what I would do is go back. I go back to the rogue and say, okay, choose another skill other than that. Because he could have done this knowing. So I go back and I say, you can choose another one of your normal skills. Now, in my high level, now listen to me carefully. This is, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to say nothing. That's something that I do, and it's a house rule, which we're going to go back to here and let you choose something else.
Okay.
So you can still choose acrobatics because you don't have acrobatics. Investigation, you don't have. Performance. And this is what will happen. It actually takes a good hour and a half sometimes to create a character.
We're like at an hour.
But let's go acrobatics.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go acrobatics because your dexterity is so high. Why not? It's +6. You know, I mean, you always want to tend towards your strengths. Okay, so there we go. So now it also gives you tool proficiencies. Now watch this. It'll give him one type of gaming set and another set of thieves tools. But how many thieves tools can you have? And technically, because you get them, you could put ×3 behind your thieves tools because sometimes you may lose them. You could keep one in a. And here's what I do. As a rogue, I'll keep a set in a pouch. I'll keep a set in my backpack, and I'll keep a set somewhere else hidden in case I lose the other two or they get taken away from me. It can happen.
And I get a gaming set.
Yes,
right?
And then you'll choose that from among the different gaming sets. You get loaded dice. It's pretty cool. And then he gets more equipment. He gets a crowbar, a set, and let's just put crowbar, dark common clothes, including a hood, and a pouch containing 15 gold. Now, there's two ways of getting all your equipment, everyone. And here's
I get 15
a
gold.
pouch with 15 gold. And here's what happens. You can take the equipment that's in your class plus your background, and you have 15 gold pieces left over. That's what you would have. Or there is, in front of equipment, there's a way you roll dice, multiply times this, and you get gold, and then you go buy your equipment. We've done it both ways. You're much better taking the equipment here. You have a little bit of gold left over, and it pretty much sets you up pretty well. The only way you should do it the other way is if you want a specific way you want to build your character as far as equipment. You're not going to get a lot because the equipment is not cheap. And everything that comes in there, you got to, Anyway, trust me, go with the background stuff. So now he gets to choose a specialty. Well, you're a blackmailer, a burglar, an enforcer, a fence, and you can roll. He can just roll a D8, and if you just want to, I'm just going to take whatever comes up. But you can also pick one. No, killer, smuggler, a pickpocket.
Do I want to roll a D8? Let's roll a D8.
Okay, roll a D8. He's gonna. Oh boy, he's gonna take his chances with a D8
on the table.
You got one of everything out there. You got a couple of everything. All right, so he chose number 5. He was a highway robber.
Man, I'm so good for being.
You know what? I'd have been a fence. You should have been a fence. I think a fence would fit you better. See, because in his background, he's chaotic good, so he's not gonna go robbing you. But he could have been a fence. He could have known, who to buy things for certain other people. So people come to him and say, hey, I need this, like that dagger. And he could get me a really nice dagger, a nice stiletto dagger. Ooh, or maybe a poison dagger. Anyway. But there you go. So let's make you a fence instead. So your background, let's put it's you were a fence. That's your criminal specialty.
Where am I putting
You can just put it up there by your background. You can put criminal. You can come down here and put fence. There you go. He was a fence. All right. Now, he has a cool feature. He has a criminal contact. You are a reliable and trustworthy contact who acts as your liaison to a network of other criminals. See, he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. So you just put that. Go back up. Go back up. Right there on the features and traits.
Okay.
I put everything where I can see it.
Would you say criminal contact?
You got a criminal contact. And I would put PHB, page 129. That's how I always do everything. And I'm going to explain why I do that. Okay, characteristics. Here we go. Now we're going to go upstairs. Up to where it says ideals. Personality traits. There's 8 of them. He can roll for them or he can pick one.
Well, I mean...
And there's a bunch of them.
In our Sunday game, my character is a rogue based off of Han Solo. So I clearly went with a I don't pay attention to the risks in the situation. Never tell me the odds because I mean, when you have that option and you're playing Han Solo, what else do you do? But this time, let's roll again.
All right, let's roll
for it. All right.
5 again. I am incredibly slow to trust. Those who seem the fairest often have the most to hide. So that would be his. And just put 5. Just put a 5 right there for the ease of. Okay, so that's the one he rolled. Now we got our ideals.
We're on page 129.
129.
So we'll do PHB 129.
There you go. And now we got our ideal. There's 6 of those, so you can either pick one. Now, and these have since he's chaotic good, he would have like freedom, and you can roll, but to kind of stick with your character, you have freedom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. And then good says, I steal from the wealthy so I can help people in need. Kind of like the Robin Hood concept. But there's others, like another good one is there's a spark of good in everyone. I think that would be a good one, redemption.
Okay.
I put redemption there because, and this would be number 6 if you rolled it. So just here we go. Back up. Let's do it different.
What?
Let's stick with it the same way. Even though you picked it, just for everybody that's seen this, put number 6, PHB, page 129. Because that way they can go and see that that's what you picked, but let's keep the same format.
That's fair.
All right, now bond. Okay, so there's all kinds of things. Now here's a Han Solo one. I'm trying to pay off an old debt I owe to a generous benefactor. He was always in trouble with that. So that's something that you can do if that's kind of the way you want to do it.
Wasn't that his whole thing, though? He was trying to pay off Jabba?
Yeah, you know, that's how you meet him. There's other ones like I would become the greatest thief that ever lived. You know, someone I died. Someone I love died because I made a mistake. That will never happen again. My ill-gotten gains go to support my family. So, you know, with the whole I'm chaotic good, that's kind of a cool little theme if you want to do that in your background.
I'm guilty of a terrible crime. I hope I can redeem myself for it.
There you go. Is that the one you want?
Yeah.
Number 5. Okay, put 5 down. And same thing, PHB 129. Why am I writing those letters? Those letters? Because here's why. Okay, my flaw. Now, if you want to come into the game with a flaw, you can talk to your DM and listen, flaws are role-playing things. Sometimes they can be used against you in your backstory if that's what you want. If you want to get more immersed in the campaign, this is a good place to do it. And you can do that with all of those because this is kind of how you build your character. So his flaws. What are you going to pick for a flaw?
I like the one that says when I see something valuable, I can't think about anything but how to steal it.
There you go. So number 1. Number 1 under the flaw.
And that's PHB
page 130.
30.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So at this point, I close the book because literally all we have to do now is come down here. Okay, here, real quick. So your weapons. Here you would put your name of your weapon. So let's put rapier, right? And I'm just gonna do the rapier because I want to kind of show you. This is where your weapons would go, and where the damage you put the damage. And I want to show you how to fill that out, kind of. Let me get to it. All right. I want to make sure I do. So rapier. All right. Oh, by the way, a rapier, if you bought it, is 25 gold by itself. Just that one piece, just so that you know. It does attack bonus. Your attack bonus comes from, because it's a finesse weapon, your dexterity plus your proficiency. So it's +6. Okay, damage, it does, and this is the way you would write this. Damage, 1d8 P. And the P means piercing, because I'm not going to write the whole word piercing, okay? And it's a finesse weapon, but you can also put like a slash there. Slash, what I do is I'll put a slash and then put F to remind me that it's a finesse weapon. But these are just shortcuts that I take. You really just need the 1d8 there. Now, here's the thing. Because it's a finesse weapon, you also get the +4 from your dexterity. So 1d8 +4. You got to put that in there. Oh, no, right next to it, +4.
Want me to put anything more in there?
Okay, well, +4. Okay, that's all right. Took out the PF. You just got to make it smaller. There it is. It's there. There you go, PF. All right. So when he attacks with his rapier, he does +6 to hit. So he will roll a d20, and this is the way a d20 comes into play. He rolled a 13. He would add the 6. It's a 19. A creature has an armor class, which we got to do your armor class real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say his armor class is a 16. He hit it because even though he only rolled a 13, he has +6. So then he would do his damage. He would pick up a d8, and roll it and add +4 to that. So he rolled a 4 + 4 is 8. If it had been a back attack, or if he got his sneak bonus, he would roll a d6 and he would add 4 more, which now he's at 12 damage. Very nicely done. Okay, now your armor class. Let's go up to that. And you're going to do it for all your weapons, your dagger, your short bow. Let's do short bow real quick because it's a little different. Short bow. Okay. It's still a dexterity-based weapon, so it's going to get the +6 to attack because it's +4, +2 for range. And all range is done off of dexterity. Now, damage for a short bow is, and by the way, just to give you an idea, a short bow is 25 gold. So you've already spent 50 gold in just 2 things. All right. It does 1d6 +4 because of your dexterity, and it gets a P. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, not the, yeah, it's piercing. And then what I do is I'll go down here where it says attack below, go down to the blank area. Okay, and I'll put short bow again. And I'll put range 8/320. 80/320. 2H. And we'll move it over and put 2H. And I'm going to interpret this for you really fast. Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't matter. Just leave it like that. Yeah, you can do it like that. Okay, so short bow, and actually you just take the range out and put R. This is how I abbreviate everything. See, this is what I abbreviate, how I abbreviate. Just take all that out and put a space there. There, range. You can put semicolon there so that you know that's what it is, but 80. It's 80, not 8.
You said 80.
Yeah, 80. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. Short bow. My short bow has a range of 80 feet. Up to 80 feet, I don't have to, I just shoot. Boom, 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 boom. I can shoot it out to 320 feet, but now I have disadvantage, which means I have to roll 2d20 and take the lower one. So I rolled a 19 and a 6. But because I'm at disadvantage, I'm shooting at such past 80 feet out to 320. I got disadvantage, so I have to take the 6. So I lost my 19. It happens. But that's what that means. And 2H means it's a two-handed weapon. So I can't have a shield. I can't have my dagger already in my hand because I'm shooting the bow. Okay, that's what that means. Now let's go up to your armor class. By the way, remember, I've spent 50 gold already. Okay, leather armor is 10 gold. And here's the way you figure out your armor class. It's a base of 11 plus my dexterity modifier. Well, here's a cool thing. You are fat. Look at these fast. So you have 11 plus 4 is 15. The other thing is initiative. That little box right there comes from your dexterity, which he has a +4 to all his initiative rolls. Initiative is what determines the order of combat or action within a combat round. So if his dexterity, roll your dexterity, your initiative, he rolled an 8, but it becomes a 12 because he has a +4 to initiative. And what happens is the DM will say, okay, what's the highest initiative? 21, 20, and that's the order everybody goes in, including the monsters. Light armor, by the way, the leather armor is worth 10, so you've spent 60 gold. I'm kind of telling you this because here we go. As a rogue, you would roll 4d4 and multiply that times 10, and that's how many gold pieces. So roll 4d4 real quick. Roll those twice, basically. So random roll. Here we go. So you got 60.
3.
You got 6. All right, roll again. 7, 10. So he has 100 gold, but guess what? Between his short bow, his rapier, and his armor, he's already spent 60 of it. He's got 40 gold to outfit himself with everything else. Yeah. So you can see that the packages, I mean, right now, go down to your package again. I want to show you how much he's actually spent so far. So he has, okay, so you got a rapier, that's 60. You got the short bow, we know that's 40. You got the leather armor, that's 60. We're at 60 gold. 2 daggers. Daggers are 2, so we're at 64. Let's see, what else do we got? The gaming set, I mean, I'm not going to go into it because then you've got the whole backpack full of stuff too. Mm-hmm. So you might come out even, you might come out ahead. If you maxed it out, hey, you come off 160 gold, you might have some gold left over. You might be able to buy a longbow. But like I said, this is an easy way of doing it. And your passive perception, let's fill that out real quick. Passive perception is your wisdom is based on your perception. So your perception is a base of 8. You have an 8. So your passive perception, your passive wisdom, which is perception, is a 16.
Boom.
which means he is hard to get anything by. Wow, that is something else. So anyway, that's where we're going to end it. Since you're a rogue, there's this really neat thing that's out now, the D&D Rogue set. It has all the tokens in it. Has a neat little card where you can abbreviate everything. So when you're playing, it has some tokens in it. 23 rogue tokens, the combat tile. It's really neat. It lets you keep your hit points and that with a dry erase.
And I mean, or you could go super old school and just get a printout from here at the collective.
But anyway,
and fill it in with a pencil and erase it every time you need to.
Well, we're gonna name you Captain Harlock.
Okay.
We're gonna name you Harlock, by the way.
All right.
Because I like Harlock. Anyway, adventurers, thanks for taking your time. I know it was a little long, but be prepared. This kind of shows you, okay? It's a lot of fun. You only need the player's handbook for this. That's it. The player's handbook. Some dice and a lot of good luck because this guy rolled way above average. But once again, this is John from the Dungeon Corner, Steve from the Collective. Thanks for tuning in. Great adventures.
Have a good one, guys.